all of you awesome, amazing people, intuitive, energetically sensitive, and empathic people. So today's topic is about your energy field, and other people will call it an aura, but it's really a field that contains you, and there are lots of interesting things about that field that you might not be aware of. And the first thing is that you can control its size and its extent, and you can also control its permeability. So stay tuned to hear more. This is Anastasia. I used to be a physics professor specializing in vibrational and quantum physics. After recovering from a serious illness using energy healing on myself, the calling to heal became so strong that I had to quit my 40-year research career. I replaced my 6-figure professor salary within 5 months using a simple but not easy 3-step system that I worked out to grow my healing practice. Now I help other healers grow their practices, whether they're just starting or already have a practice, with this same 3-step system. I'm all about helping you too. Listen in to learn more. Thank you so much for coming back. And as I mentioned, today's topic is about your energy field. So first of all, your energy field reflects everything that's going on within you, right? So your energy field is a reflection of emotions. It's a reflection of you feeling vulnerable. It's a reflection of you feeling safe. And it's a reflection of how much energy you can contain. So your energy field can be and should be your protection, right? And I've mentioned before in previous broadcasts about how your energy field can become permeable. The lines of energy that come off of you can get tangled, and that you can straighten them out. One thing you may not be aware of is that you can control its size. And what's really great about controlling its size is that it is a way for you to, for example, be in a crowd. If you're really sensitive to other people, you can pull in your energy field and allow, because your energy field normal extent is about the extent of your arm span. And if you then pull yourself in, if I tell your body to pull yourself into about 18 inches around you, so imagine you're at about 3 feet out, right? Your arm span is approximately your height, and I'm about 5'4" to 5'5", and so my arm span is just slightly more than that. I should be taller. And just as a point of fun, we call it the gorilla index, right? So if your arm span is much longer than your height, then you have a high gorilla index. Like my son, who's 6 feet tall, he has a 6'4" arm span. Right? So he has a high gorilla index. So just to get back to it, your energy field is about the extent of your arm span. So if you pull yourself in kind of tight, then as you walk through a crowd, you won't be interacting with other people quite as intensely. And if you imagine when you are speaking to someone, right, if you just meet somebody and you're speaking to them no matter what, the normal distance that we stand, at least in Western culture, the normal distance that we stand is about 5 to 6 feet apart. Any closer, it feels invasive. There's a difference in some Middle Eastern countries. They'll get really close to you, and Americans will start to back off, for example. And this happened to me when I was teaching a class, and we had somebody from, I don't know whether it was Saudi Arabia or Iran, but they came to class and were asking me questions and getting up really close, and I kept backing away. And he said, "What's the matter?" And I'm going, "Yeah, And so I had to explain to him that this is not normal for American culture, right? So anyway, this means that when you're that distance apart, that you are not ready to interact in a more intimate way, because what happens when the energy fields interact or get intertwined, you are exchanging energy at a much higher rate. So that's why, for example, in families, when you're comfortable, you're more likely to hug and to sit close together and to speak much more closely. Like I hug my husband and my daughter a lot and my grandson a lot because I want to experience their energy on a much more intimate level than, the average stranger on the street, right? So you can pull yourself in. All you have to do is imagine that your field is pulled into 18 inches, and even you can think to yourself, pull myself into 18 inches. And for those of you that are sensitive, very often you'll feel like a tingling on your skin. And what that tingling is imagine that you've got a big ball of energy and you're now shrinking it to half its diameter. When you shrink something to half its diameter, you are 1/8 the volume. 1/2 times 1/2 times 1/2 equals 1/8, right? Because it's 1/2 in each direction. So you're at 1/8 the volume. So all that energy is now in 1/8 the volume. So you will feel definitely some sort of tingling if you're really sensitive and if you pay attention to it. So that is also a lesson in, if you expand your energy field outward, that means you can contain more energy. And what that also means is that you don't want it out all the time, right? But what it also means is that if you expand upward, you can also have a more intimate connection to spirit and get messages, right? So you have the ability to control your field. So in crowds, you want to pull yourself in. And when you're alone meditating or whatever, you want to expand yourself out. And the easy way to imagine yourself expanding yourself out is every time you take a deep breath, you imagine yourself expanding outward. And when you release it, it'll pulse in a little bit. But each time you can push yourself out further. So you can imagine that you're as big as the room, then you're as big as your house, then you're as big as the city block, and now you're as big as your city, and now your state or your country, depending on its size. And when you expand outward and upward, you are moving yourself up towards the light and able to interact with the light better, right? And able to get those messages a lot more clearly. And the reason why you want to be able to contain more energy is that you become more alert, you become more creative, you become happier because you're at a higher frequency, and you also can earn more money or invite more wealth into your life, right? So health, love, and wealth are all intertwined in this energy equation, right? So by being able to expand outward and upward, we can connect up to spirit, we can hold more energy, and invite more wealth. So one of the ways that I learned how to do this from another healer is to say, I am totally receptive. So every time you take a deep breath, you say to yourself, I am totally, or all the times and all the ways, or across all time, across all space, across all dimensions, and across all realities, I am more receptive, or totally receptive, not more. I am totally receptive. And what that means is that to be receptive, you have to open yourself up to it. So your subconscious gets the image because your subconscious controls everything, right? Your subconscious gets the image that they need to open up, right? You need to have a bigger and bigger container to be receptive. And so when you're quiet and alone, this is a good time, and it's also a good time to connect to spirit and get your downloads, and also make it known what your desires and wishes are, right? So that's what's important about that energy field. And to remember that when you are done, you pull yourself in to normal size. You just let your energy field relax. So when people are sick, and I have observed this, I've seen it visually, right? When people are sick, their energy field starts to shrink. And if you are a healer, you can help them by pumping energy into their field and helping them expand out so they can contain more energy and get healthier, right? Because the sicker somebody is, the more their field shrinks. It also gets dark, right? It's kind of like turning the dimmer down on the light bulb. That's you. And it's very helpful for them to, you can even give them that exercise every time they breathe in, that they're expanding out their energy field to help contain more energy. And so today what I've gone over is your ability to control your energy field, right? So when you're in crowds, pull yourself in. When you're at home alone and you're meditating and connecting to spirit, or looking for downloads, or looking for information, or making your desires known, you can expand out your energy field. I've given you a tip on how you can expand it. You can do it with your breathing, or you can say all the times and all the ways I'm totally receptive. And this way you can contain that extra energy. And remember that you want to fill in all of the holes and all of the cracks in your energy field. Remember to also get above your head and below your feet. A lot of people forget below your feet and they get invaded into their root that way, right? And the last thing is that you can use like a sky blue or a seafoam green to color the edges of your field, which creates, scientifically, it creates a bandpass filter, and the bandpass filter blocks out the low frequency vibes and allows in the high frequency vibes. It's the only kind of filter. Normally filters allow in the low frequency vibes and cut off the high frequency vibes. So this is a special kind of scientific filter. You can look it up. It's called a bandpass filter. And they are generally green to blue-green to blue. And that allows in the visible wavelengths in the high-end range, right? So that is allowing the high vibe stuff in and blocking the low vibe. And one of my students calls it the cloak of invisibility because evil can't see you anymore because you reflect off all of their poopy energy, right? So I hope that was helpful today in what your energy field does for you, how you can make it contain more energy, how you can connect up to spirit, expand it and contract it at will. Okay, thank you so much for listening, and try it at home. I look forward to seeing you in the next video. Thank you so much for taking valuable time out of your day to listen in. If you found this message helpful, please help spread the word by giving the broadcast a thumbs up or a 5-star rating. Share it with your friends, and be sure to subscribe to my channel with your notifications on. For further training on healing and growing your healing business using my 3-step system, go to www.highpaidhealers.com. And I'll see you in the next video.